Shrim Rim Klim Glam Gam Ganapati Varavara Sarvajanam Eva Shema
Aloha family, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you taking the time to spend a little time with me. So this is going to be a question and answer. Anything that comes up, feel free to ask. So I'm going to start this with a question I've been getting a lot lately, is why I changed my branding name from Jake Illuminates to Logos Illuminates. So the definition of Logos is the Word of God, and that's more correct because that's what is illuminating. That's the light. Jake's not illuminating. Jake is just a vessel for it. So that was my thinking in that. This, as Albert Einstein said, physical reality is an illusion. I'll be a stubborn one. And you gotta know that. This isn't real. Now, how can it be real? It's temporary. And we are all eternity itself. We are infinite consciousness. That's what we are before the layers of identification are placed upon that consciousness, that just pure awareness. So it's good not to take this ego vessel too seriously, and know that it's just a vehicle for you to experience the illusion of limitation and to experience yourself as separate, the illusion of separation, and experience physicality, the dream, work out and understand yourself better. If you're all that is and ever was and ever can be, your eternity, how do you understand yourself fully and deeply? You have to break yourself down and invest your own consciousness into every form of life and really live that and believe that that's you, so that you can understand what that is. Consciousness goes into grass. So now grass can understand itself. A cow can understand itself. You understand yourself more fully by incarnating into infinite amount of bodies, all forms, to understand yourself. So I decided to change the name because the Word of God, supreme, what we all are, infinite consciousness, all the light, we all share the same infinite consciousness. We are the same consciousness. That should get the credit. That's what's coming through. It's not Jake. Jake's just a vehicle for it. And it does take time to purify the vessel and attune the vessel properly so that the information, the light comes through less distorted. And that's why our job is to master the limiter, the ego, the mind, the rational mind, and not let it control us. Zandera Riviera, how do you cleanse? Okay, so that's probably a better question for Google, because there's so many ways to cleanse. It depends if you're cleansing your lymphatic system, digestive system, your colon, your blood. It really is up to you. What are you trying to cleanse? And that's a very broad question. So I would just say, where do you want to start? It's usually easy to just start with food. Just cut out anything that's genetically modified and processed. Anything that's not organic. Why would you eat that? Why would you eat things that are poisonous? It just doesn't make any sense. So you just cut out all of that and just try to day by day eat better. Only drink very clean water. We're blessed to have a natural spring here, so that's all the water I drink. It's just very pure, alkaline. So that's a really good starting point, but you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. The more you cleanse, the more density will fall away from your vessel, from your being, and you'll be able to embody and transmute and transmit more light. And you'll be able to sit with that and integrate more. And you'll be more aware and more conscious and more intelligent. Everything works better. Your mind works better because it's not bogged down by toxins, I would strongly recommend rather a blood detox of heavy metals. So you can take spirulina, chlorella, cilantro, even blend up a bunch of cilantro. That'll get out like the aluminum and barium that some are ignorantly spraying. So that'll actually really help, because you want really highly conductive metals in your bloodstream, so that you can ping and attune to the frequency, the high frequency that's already bombarding this planet right now. It's already here. It's all here right now. It's just what you're choosing to tune into. So it's wherever you place your focus, and then that's the frequency, that's the vibration that you house and embody, and then that's what's reflected in the hologram that we're in. This is all just a holographic response mechanism to your vibration, to the soul's vibration. So just, check yourself. Always be watching your ego, because you're the watcher. You're the one that's aware all the time. You're the one that's aware when you're thinking. You're the one you're talking to when there's nobody around. So ask yourself, why is there two? Why is there someone speaking and someone listening? If it's just me sitting here, So you start to break apart the higher mind, the soul, spirit, from the ego, the rational mind, limited mind, and you start to separate yourself from the ego and do just detachment. And cleansing is a great way, because it's a spiritual discipline, and it's a great discipline to start with. So, great question. I hear many talk about doing your inner work. Can you give some examples of what that means? Is it simply meditation, or what other spiritual practices can you suggest to open one's consciousness? Inner work is basically, meditation is extremely important. There is no alternative really to meditation. It's absolutely crucial to gain control over your mind and not letting the mind control you. That's absolutely crucial. A great quote was, "The mind is a perfect servant, but a terrible master." I'm not exactly sure who that one was, but that's very true, and a lot of people are mastered by their ego and by their desires. It's immediately, the manas, the desires, picks up something, you want it. You desire it, you must have it. Until you get it, you won't be satisfied, you won't be at peace. And this is how it goes. You're at peace. Something comes in, you distinguish what it is. Manas, you desire it, you want it, you go get it, now you're at peace again. So it's being able to be at peace regardless of anything. And that comes from removing desires and removing attachments to the thing that desires, because this thing desires. It's what it's gonna do. So in the beginning, what's really good is just to eliminate detrimental desires, because if you just try to remove all desires, it's gonna be really difficult. But I would suppose the best advice, if you're just trying to go all in, is only desire from a selfless stance. So if you're desiring to end someone else's suffering, if you're desiring to make someone happy, to make someone laugh, to relieve someone in some way, that does not bind you. Those desires will not bind you to Maya, to the body, to creation. You are still free if your desires are pure in that way. But if you have desires that are selfish and only for the betterment of the self, those will bind you. Read holy books. I recommend the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali. Amazing book. It's just light. It's just an ambassador of light, and that's what we are here. We're here to illuminate and understand ourselves and get to the point where we are able, this is very important, that we are able to liberate our consciousness, what we are, consciousness, from the body. Now, don't get me wrong, the body is an amazing tool. I mean, I couldn't be sitting here bringing through light and using the vocal cords that the body has to help other people in this dream without it. So it's an amazing tool, but that's what it is. It's a tool, and it's not to be totally focused on like it's the only thing that matters, because it's not even real. You know, if you do the whole rat race of getting the nice car and the nice house and all the money, that's hollow. It's empty. It won't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. It'll bring you some comfort and satisfaction, and that's all well and good, but it will be, in the end, even if you get it, it'll be hollow, and you'll be wondering, how is this, you know, how is this what I'm here to do? Oh, I can go have fun, or but it's not real. And you'll know that because once you experience your true natural state, nothing here will satisfy you anymore. Once you expand what you are, awareness, consciousness, beyond the density of the ego, once you experience that liberation from everything, the idea of yourself, from you'll just, there's no higher high. There's nothing that you can do here that even equates, that even comes close to experiencing your eternal nature, because you are forever. You are eternal. You are bliss. You are love, and it's infinite. It expands forever, and you experience it, and then there's no more fear. And that's the biggest one. There's no more fear. You are liberated from the distortion of fear, and fear is one of the densest frequencies that just traps you, and just you're all locked up, and it's just horrible. You know, it's horrible. And if you ever cut that and you experience yourself liberated, truly liberated from fear, there's no higher high. And you get to a space where nothing can be taken from you, because it's what you are. It's not something that you have, like you have this body. So you're always going to be afraid of, oh, what if someone takes this body from me? If you have money, oh, what if someone takes it? There's always fear. Oh, you have a car, what if someone steals my car? You know, there's always that underlying fear, because it's an extension of you, and it's not you're not experiencing yourself. You're experiencing an illusory extension of yourself, and it's hollow. And I truly recommend to do the inner work to get to a place where you're able to liberate your consciousness from the binds of the ego and expand beyond the rational mind, and understand what this all is, and just the sacredness of this, and how just, you know, fragile and beautiful it all is. And it makes you much more sensitive, because we've become very desensitized through media and just through life, and because they don't want us, you know, sensitive. They don't want our nervous system sensitive to pick up subtle emotions and subtle vibrations and frequency. They want you numbed out, dumbed down, and controllable, because you're an energy source. Because like I've said several times in this video, you are eternal consciousness, prana, electricity. That's what you are. You'll always be that, eternally, never ending. That's what you are. And that can be harnessed if someone is able, or a group of people are able, to get you to identify with just a flesh suit, a machine body, basically, and limit that. And if you're not able to access higher levels of consciousness of yourself, higher levels of yourself, higher understanding of what you are, you're giving up a lot of power. I can't even express how much power you're giving up when you only believe yourself to be this little expression of source, this little wave in the ocean, when truly you're the entire wave. And when that wave, your ego crashes, you're going to expand back out to experience yourself as the ocean. But you're able to do that now. If you do the work, you're able to gain enough control over your consciousness to experience higher levels of yourself. And that's the goal, to understand yourself more fully. And the way you're going to understand yourself more fully is by unidentifying with the illusion and unattaching yourself to the illusion. You can always come back. It's here, but if The body is only a prison if you're not able to come and go as you please. The body's a beautiful thing, I love it, but if you're not able to come and go as you please, it's a prison. That's the whole of the spiritual process, is overcoming the mind, the rational mind that pulls you into density. And I'll use example of certain frequencies like anger. So someone does something and you identify yourself with it, and you embody the frequency of anger, which is a very dense, low frequency. That traps you in the ego, and you can only experience reality from where you're at. And if you're in anger, you can only experience reality from anger, and your whole mirror becomes that of that energy, the frequency of anger. So it's just gaining control over your thoughts, the thoughts of your ego, your body, your mind. At the very end, it's removing all mental modifications. Imagine you are an infinite still ocean, just still, silent. And each thought is a rock hitting the surface of that ocean, and it creates ripples, which is distortion, and it colors the mind. And you can no longer see a perfect reflection of God, what you are, what we all are, infinite awareness, consciousness, love. You can no longer see what you are because it's all rippled, it's all distorted, because you keep throwing rocks into it, because you keep having these thoughts. You have to be able to still all thought, and it's difficult, I understand, so that it's just pure and serene, and you can understand yourself.
Om Shrim Rim Klim Lam Gam Ganapatiye Vara Vara Saravajanam Eva Shabha.